What's up? What's up? What's up? The smoke from Canada. We love you, Canadians. Is finally clear. We can now see the pathway towards some of our new big stadium shows that we are fastly approaching. But you are now on the newest edition of Ring Theory. I am your host, one of your hosts, Downtown Gerard Brown, and I'm here not alone with my tag team partner, the main event man himself, main event Jay Lacey. What's poppin', Jay?
Bro, it is hot as balls out here, bro. We are in a heat wave, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like 105 right now, bro. It's supposed to get even hotter tomorrow and then hotter the next day and even hotter the following day. So, I mean, I'm in some AC, but it is cooking outside, bro. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Hey, like I said, that Canadian wildfire air has now cleared the way, and I'm living my life like it's golden, like Jill Scott. I'm right back to being outside. I wish we had those temperatures like you had, because I love a good sauna outside for free.
Careful what you wish for, player.
Hey, I got my water on deck up here, and we know that in the Midwest, you got to stay hydrated.
Oh, most definitely.
So, I mean, hey, y'all know that on the West Coast too, so it's good to see that over there as well. But yeah, you got to stay hydrated in this heat, else you will be passing out. And so, but talking about folks passing out, we got our weekly wrestling thoughts for this, because hey, we got redemption thoughts, we got live Dynamite and Collision thoughts. Man, after them shows, I'm tired enough that I could pass out from them crowd reactions and that energy. We're also going to dive into the all-in build. We're going to touch on SummerSlam and beyond, comparing both the stadium builds of the show. We'll have a little light dark side of the ring thoughts, as well as our big three of this month. But before we can dive into any of that, I need y'all to do one thing for us first. Because see, it's hot outside, and so we got that AC on, and so we got it cranked up in the car, keeping it nice and tight for y'all. Hey, got some water bottles in the back like the Uber do. In that same regard, I'm gonna need you to, it's not a 5-star like, not a 5-star recommendation, but it's a drive for 500 that we are driving towards. And so 500 YouTube subscribers, 500 Patreon subscribers. So if you can hit that like button, that subscribe button, that helps our channel get out there, spread the name, spread the word. So please help us do so on this channel and join us, because we have our live streams for wrestling shows. We have our thoughts in our Ring Theory podcast. We have SBF covering our MMA side. And now Ray dropping his This Week in MMA news, giving you all that you need to know for the week. Boom, in a nice 10-minute clip. So dive into that. The parlay, the Kings of Sport, the mothership, if you will. As well as other shows. And so dive onto the Nefarious Media Network. We are doing things and trying to change the game by any means necessary, even if those means might be nefarious. And so with that said, we're going to jump on into the card. We're going to talk about our AEW live thoughts. And so I'm going to run down the card real quick with Redemption and what happened at Dynamite and Collision, and we'll kind of cover those thoughts. But we opened up Redemption with a 6-way ladder match. We had Jack Perry, the Beast Mortos, Nick Wayne, El Clone, Mike Bailey, and Commander, all for a shot at the international title to be determined. Mike Bailey wins this match. We had the Bucks defeating the Death Riders with Will Ospreay and Moxley having a little miscommunication. We had the AEW International title match, the Protostar defending his title against Bandito. We had the double chain match, which, hey, talking about passing out. Hey, I don't know. No shade. But I need that shade outside. So, but the Dogs defeating the Bang Bang Gang. Oof, where you at, Jay White? Where you at, man? He then had a backstage segment setting up, hey, Moxley said, hey, if you ain't gonna pull the trigger, Will, I will for you. That led us to the TBS title match. Maya winning the TBS title and taking it off of Hikaru Shida. We then had the Demand challenge for the Trios title on the backstage segment as well. And then we had the tag team champions, Cope and Krish, defeat the Death Riders, Claudio and Pac. Then we also had the No Holds Barred, the Painmaker, Jericho, versus the Psycho Killer, Tommaso Ciampa. Jericho gets the win. We had Divine Dominion in this, I don't know what type of segment with McFoley. Hey, Mick, bark all you want, man. Hey, do you, dog. I'm not in your lane. The AEW National Championship changed hands on Redemption when Andrade was able to defeat Mark Davis of the Don Callis family.
How you know?
Hey, how you know for sure. Love that match. And you know what, Mark Davis, hey, we gonna shout at you a little bit later, man. You warming up my heart and soul, man. But we had Speedball Challenge for Grand Slam Mexico against Kyle Fletcher. We had the Women's World Title, Women Nightingale, Willow. Let me say her name right. Excuse me, Willow Nightingale defeat the Toxic Spider, Tekla, for the AEW Women's World Championship. Hey, we gonna talk about it. We for sure gonna talk about it.
Gotta talk about it.
Then we had Kenny Omega defending the World Championship against the Jet, Kevin Knight in the main event. That's all led us to the AEW Dynamite that took place in Detroit, Michigan, my hometown. Gotta love it. Born and raised. The best to me live Dynamite that we've had following up a pay-per-view to take those big stories and do something with them. And so whether it's Ospreay relinquishing his Death Rider patch in the opening of Dynamite, Hangman returning in that same segment to kind of have a little pit-pat with him and Ospreay, the triple threat for the national title, Willow celebration, which, man, when it comes to those two main world title matches, that Willow segment, being a part of that celebration and that crowd reaction, the emotion she felt, we all felt. And so, like, that was such an amazing thing to be a part of. Monet coming out to confront her. I know we were talking about triple threats and whatnot. I hope not, because these women showed you, hey, the story has been there. New Japan Strong, Dynamite, Dynasty, Double or Nothing. We've been following each other this whole time. And you've been a footnote in my story. We're going to talk about that too. But them leading to then the Ospreay Omega confrontation at the end of the show. The closing promo. Also, excuse me, I ain't put it on here, but my brothers, the man getting the trios title and finally locking that up. Getting them bald comments up because, like, hey, yo, you might think the ball, the shine in my head is shiny, but that goes just a little bit shinier. So we with the demand on that one. And so Collision, the biggest thing I have to talk about with Collision is, yes, they have arrived. We have been waiting for them and put up the hand because we in Michigan love to show us our Michigan map. Boom, and we got the gun out. What does that mean? The Motor City Machine Guns have just arrived and are all elite in AEW. Jay, the folks have heard a lot of my voice. We'll dive into my live thoughts in a little bit, but from your at-home experience, Redemption going into Dynamite and Collision, for this week of AEW, what has really stood out for you? What's made you really jazzed about the television? You know what? What's some criticism you might have about that television as well?
Well, I'll go into starting with Redemption. I've heard a lot of commentary about it being a mixed show where people were just, not too high on it. And then my first thought was like, this was a connection show. This was the show to get you to the bigger show, All In, so things had to take place in this show to connect the dots to set up the matches for the bigger pay-per-view, the granddaddy pay-per-view, right? So we're spoiled as wrestling fans, as AEW fans. We've been getting banger after banger pay-per-view. And this wasn't a dud by any stretch of the imagination. Did it have some misses? It had one in particular. Okay, two in particular. One talking segment, one match that could have been on Dynamite or could have been on Collision, right? The dog collar match. They had that one segment where you already talked about with Mick Foley and Divine Dominion. That was a miss, man. That was a miss. I ain't gonna touch that one. But other than that, I mean, we saw Nick Wayne's coming out party at the six-person ladder match. We saw Kyle Fletcher put on an incredible match. We saw Andrade El Idolo. I mean, he's over like Rover, and again, the Kevin Knight. We knew he was a lame duck, but he made us believe like, okay, maybe he's got a shot. Him and Kenny Omega put on a great match. And then the story that they told after the match, with Will Ospreay being conflicted against doing the dastardly things that the Death Riders do. the storytelling of Yuta holding Ospreay the way that they held Yuta when they did the same plastic bag over Bryan Danielson. The storytelling is like top tier, right? So was it a 10 pay-per-view? No, but it didn't need to be, because we're going to get a 10 plus pay-per-view at the end of August. So that's Redemption. Going into, what we saw on Wednesday night, there's a lot of talking segments, but I mean, everything made sense. It was a good, again, connection type of show to lead us on to where we need to go down the road. So Detroit, y'all need another show. I ain't gonna lie. If y'all showed up like that for Dynamite and Collision, maybe you guys should get another show. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, no shade to Montreal, but y'all might not have been Mike talking about Montreal, because there were some dead spots, but Detroit, they didn't have very many dead spots. And so I don't know if it was the miking or whatever, but all good. Both Dynamite and Collision. The 6-man tag title is going from the Conglomeration to the Demand. Shout out to Kate from Montreal, show the program. She called it. She wanted it. I'm happy for you. I'm happy to see the storytelling that they're telling within that group now, along with Lethal Swirl or Lethal Twist. That's what we call it, Lethal Twist. So yeah, there's a lot of layers to what's going on and what's happening. Not only from the top of the card, but also mid card and also coming up into the mid card. So, dude, I'm just excited to see exactly where Tony Khan and crew are going with this. And again, dude, just layers upon layers of storytelling. It's great to see.
I couldn't agree more, man. And so I'm gonna go back to Redemption. Let's put it like this. I think the show was good, and people were like, "Oh, this is like their No Way Out." Hey, No Way Out was one of my favorite pay-per-views back in the day. Because you know what the storytelling element of No Way Out was? Oh, you missed your shot at the Rumble. You got one last shot to get to Mania. And so people are like, oh, you should next year, Tony, don't name it Redemption. I think you should keep it Redemption and keep it right where it's at. Because
and let me pause you right there, bro. I gotta jump in real quick on two things, right? So Redemption, I took it as a double meaning. So yeah, it's the name of the pay-per-view, but look at Will Ospreay's story arc telling, right? So he's redeeming himself for, maybe contemplating doing these bad things to, his hero, his friend, somebody who looks up to. He doesn't want to go that far, but he knows that I know I went with the Death Riders. So he's getting his redemption story arc, and that bled into Wednesday night with him going and confronting Kenny Omega, right? So that's how I took it. And I was like, y'all some smart dudes. Y'all real smart. And the other thing I didn't touch on Redemption that I really liked is that they celebrated the Rougeau family. And you saw how Montreal really respected Jacques and Ramon Rougeau and the Mountie. And dude, I mean, he turned heel so quick, and it was entertaining. It was better than what I thought it was going to be. And man, shout out to both of those dudes, and shout out to Tony Khan for respecting the trailblazers of those, different territories that he visits, even though they weren't part of the AEW banner, they were still part of professional wrestling history. He respects it, he acknowledges it, and that hats off to him for that.
And I do love that Tony does that across the board. Whether it's when we go to Mexico, we are trying to celebrate and show our love of this pro wrestling sport, even down to the fact that we went last year. Hangman literally did that whole promo straight in Spanish.
Right.
That's now showing, hey, I'm in your market. I'm adapting to you. It's not you got to adapt to me. And so I like that. Whether it's honoring wrestling's history and who's come behind us, that's how we got to where we are today. Treating it like it's a bigger thing than just your company, your stories. Like, I love that about what Tony Khan has done in pro wrestling lately. And not just lately, using AEW to do that as a brand. And so I just wish, in that same respect and regard he showed for the Rougeaus, we could have put Mike Bailey in something better on this card. I understand circumstances, fun match and all, but like story-wise, let's give the man a little icing and cake onto that story for him to then go into the whole pay-per-view on. So, I mean, I wish that was there, but no, I love the fact that this was redemption. Willow found her redemption on this pay-per-view. So it's not just like it's Kenny and he didn't get his redemption before the show. There's multiple ways of redeeming that. showing that, hey, in the main event, I still have it. This young gun is not going to just take the belt off me on the way and overlook me on the way here to All In. Like, I still have it. What he said in that promo on Dynamite, I still have it. And that was an insult to me that you said that to my face, Will. I like the layers of this story that we've been telling. The fact that it's okay, I had to go. And here's the fun fact I'm starting to pick up on for my folks who love anime. I'm not all the way through, so folks, don't drop no spoilers in the comments. But I'm on Vinland Saga season 2. And in season 1, let's put it like this. The main character, Thorfinn, his father, beast mode on him. Gets murdered by this dude named Askeladd. And so basically now, Thorfinn is like, I got to kill you. Joins my man's gang just to get that revenge, but he needs to get the revenge the way his father wanted him to get that revenge, which is being an honorable man and getting in a duel, not just getting it, sneaking them on when you sleep or whatever. And so for years, this man was a child when he saw his father murdered. That hate for 10 years brewed up. Literally, Askeladd got murdered by somebody, and then Askeladd literally died in Thorfinn's arms. And then he felt empty after, and he couldn't actually get that revenge. And so, literally listening to Will on Wednesday in person say that, I'm like, hey yo, that sounds like Vinland Saga, man. You literally sound like you tried to go down that revenge quest road, and you could not get that access to like the actual revenge. And I'm sure he's now more or less where Thorfinn is at the end of season 2. I don't know where that is. I hope it's somewhere better where we are right now, because man, homie is empty. But Will went through that. I'm empty inside. This revenge is not feeling me. Let me go about it a different way. Let me learn from my enemy. And so, and literally, Thorfinn learned from his enemy the same way that Will went with the Death Riders. And they brought him in as somebody else when he was the enemy at the beginning. So I liked a lot of those layer stories, and like, when you can mirror media in that regard, I love something like that. And so I love what we're doing. Don't ever tell me AEW is not telling stories, whether it's from the women's division, the men's division. I know they got 1,001 titles, but hey, they doing it. And folks, here it is. Here comes the moment of moments. John Moxley, I respect you, sir. I get it now.
You
the Death Rider story, it finally
you understand now.
For whatever reason, it finally broke me. Because I'm watching him face Commander. I'm like, yo, it shouldn't be taking you this long, man. It shouldn't be this long to beat up Commander. But like, he's not struggling though at times. He's literally like, Commander did this flippy thing, and I don't know if it was on commercial break or not, but he literally moved him out the way and threw him, and then literally flipped him off, and then we was literally like cussing up a storm at him, and the crowd was going crazy. I was like, yeah, that was kind of cool, man. I ain't hold you. That was okay, John.
Welcome to this side. Welcome.
Listen to Will. Will say, like, I get it. Like, they might not, they care. They do care about this place. And the fact that, like, I like that nature of, like, I am doing it in a dirty way, but I do have this vision, and I am trying to do it. I do see the good in what I'm trying to do. It's just I'm doing it in a very evil way. Hey, John. You don't need to be winning all dang time. But all right, John. All right, John. And that leads me down to my next point. What the hell is this cup? I get it. Can I tell y'all? And here's the one complaint I will have about AEW shows, and I can't really complain too much about it. The live experience is so much fun, especially when you're there in a crowd that is just vibrant. And I've been for every single Detroit show they've been here for. Okay. The energy has been here since Blood and Guts, since the Kenny Mox cage match, since our first time being over here, which seeing Willow face Chris Statlander and lose to her the last time she was in Detroit to then come back with the belt.
Growth.
That kind of continuity for us, like that's amazing. That's getting to see our stars grow. I remember when she was at the first Blood and Guts as a tune-up match. And now she here winning the belt. So like, but what they need to do is mic the building better when it comes to audio from the video. Because at one point, AEW, in my live experiences of going a lot over these years, since 2022 forward, I noticed that when I would go back and watch it at home, there'd be whole backstage segments that we did not even see in the arena. They've improved that. Now they put it on the screen. But here's the issue. If we are hype, if we are happy, if we are a vibrant crowd, don't expect to hear nothing that's being said on that screen. Because John was like, Continental Cup. And we all and like you can't hear what's going on the screen. And so like Willow might say something on the mic, and like when somebody gets on that mic, if we're not dead silent in here, by God, it is so hard to make out what anybody is saying in those promo packages or anything. You just got to use your wrestling brain, like, okay, on Collision, I got you. Now I don't know what you said the first part, but on Collision, I got you now. So please turn up that volume for you folks in the arena. But also, when we turn up the volume, I guess that's the trade-off. You're gonna have to win some and lose some. That's the live experience, I guess. But that's moving me towards the live experience that they've been building. We've been talking about it throughout the Redemption. We've been talking about it through the Dynamite Thoughts. It's leading us to All In. How have you felt about the All In build? Is this what you've been expecting for All In?
Well, before I give my thoughts on All In, we've got a special guest all the way from LA. It's the good doctor, Dr. Chris. What's cracking, bro? How you doing, man?
What's man, chilling. Sorry I'm late. I was dealing with an emergency call about my medication and stuff because I hadn't gotten it. So everything's good.
That's more important than anything we talking about right now. Health as well.
You do not apologize here. Self-care is the best care, so take care of yourself, man.
Right.
100%. So you're asking about the build to All In, right?
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts on it is I'm really, intrigued by the card. I mean, I know that they got some ticket sales that they're trying to, to bolster. I think that the card is going to be what it is. It's going to be phenomenal. Is it going to be one of the top All-In shows that they've had in London? To be determined. I think that so far that the main story that they're telling with Ospreay versus Omega, that's going to put butts in seats. That's going to fill the arena. Or at least it should fill the arena because they both do not miss. Every single time they've confronted each other, they don't miss. The story that's being told, there's shades of gray everywhere. Kenny Omega has his points on, hey, I saw the plastic bag and I reacted. Ospreay has his points like, look, I went with someone who's going to make me a more lethal weapon to take the belt off of you because I didn't have that edge, that killer instinct before, or at least storyline wise. So now I have that, and I'm going to shoot you point blank dead in the face, not behind your back. So seeing that, hearing that from Ospreay, seeing that from Omega, I'm excited about it. The Bucks versus Christian and Copeland, that's going to be intriguing, because this is one of those matches that you would have on like the old, WWE games where you can create the tag teams, and this is like a real life version of that because we got the best of one generation versus the best of another generation. So I'm curious to see how they create and structure that match. I'm interested in Mercedes Moné versus Willow Nightingale. That's 3 top tier matches right there, and I'm very intrigued by the direction they go with it because I don't know. I just find it very exciting to see right now because of everything that's been going on with AEW, and there's a bunch of question marks of who could be appearing that we haven't seen yet, which leads me to the video.
Break them chains off.
Dr. Chris, let me get your opinion on this because we were in a group chat. I want to get your thoughts on what you thought about the unicorn or the former unicorn breaking free, and what's your thoughts on that, sir?
I thought the storytelling in that thing was really, really good, like with the 2 unicorns for one. And then the one unicorn that got left behind with the broken horn. I thought that was like, I was amazed at how much they said in that little bit of time. And then the unicorn with the broken horn kind of giving them the nod off, the seal of approval, and then they start walking away, and then you see the silhouettes of Kofi and Austin Creed. I thought it was I thought it was real good. I thought it's very intriguing, and I do think that'll help move tickets for the Wembley show, because I know last week when we checked on Sunday, I did SP3's show, and they were stuck at 29,000 for
we crossed that.
Yeah,
I can tell you. So real quick,
yeah.
I'm real quick tell you some numbers. So on July 6th, the current setup was for 36,000 folks, and they had 26,000 tickets distributed on July 6th. That's with 9,000 tickets still available.
Right.
That's off of WrestleNomics. Going to WrestleNomics for the 17th, they're talking about now, hey, they are now up to 30,000 with a setup of 39,000 instead of 36,000. So they've actually added on some additional seats on that. They've crossed that 30,000 threshold. And they still have 9,216 tickets left out. So they're moving numbers, and it's been since they've kind of changed that main event. And so let that inform some of your next comments as well.
Right. Yeah. So I think they'll be fine. I think if they start really teasing Daybreak on the shows, I don't know how much they could get away with legally doing that, because technically Kofi and Austin are not in they're not in the negotiation window until the whole thing expires. There are ways to communicate with TK through like a smoke screen, or just there's roundabout ways you could negotiate these things, but
hypothetically speaking.
Right, yeah. But what if? I would the first chance I got, I'd start like just doing little teasers on the show to let people know, like have it be like a worst kept secret, like CM Punk when he was going to AEW. And I think tickets will definitely start moving faster, because the last time I was on with Sid on Sunday, he said they were at 35,000. I'm not sure if that's an accurate number or not, but that's what he said, because we've all been tracking the numbers of the way that Wembley show's moving. And Gerard just said 30,000. So and that was as of July 7th? So
July 17th.
So 17. So yeah, they're probably at 35,000 now, and they're probably going to sell more. I think there's a lot to be excited about in AEW. Like, I looked at Collision last night. I didn't get to see the whole show, but I saw the Motor City Machine Guns debut on the show, and the reaction they got from the crowd. And all I could think is, why did WWE let these guys go? It's like they are still relevant. There was so much you could have did with those cats. They could have helped elevate, because their tag team scene is not great at the moment in WWE, and they got 2 sets of those belts. They don't need they don't need 2 sets of belts right now. There was a time where you could probably justify it, but it's just not. Both shows are very cold at the moment. But anyway, back to AEW. I think All In's gonna be great. I want to fly out there. I just don't. I've been logistically trying to figure out how I could possibly make it work. I'm not comfortable driving a car on the left-hand side of the road, or as we call it in America, the wrong side of the road. I'm not comfortable doing that. My wife isn't comfortable doing it either. So
get a
yeah,
Vespa.
Huh?
Just get a Vespa. You know, she can ride behind you. You good?
Yeah. So that's the thing.
You'd be all right.
Yeah, I think we're gonna. I don't know if anybody from Post is gonna be. Maybe our man Neil's gonna be at the show.
Okay.
But I think Wembley might end the streak of Post people being at those shows, because I want to go out there, but I definitely am gonna look. I'm gonna watch live, maybe do a watch party with the people online.
Okay.
Do something like that, because I do think it's going to be a good show. I've been loving the TV. I thought that Wednesdays, because I didn't think the pay-per-view was great. I thought it was okay. I thought it was decent. I thought it was a thumbs up show, but it wasn't like a life-changing show. It was a show you could afford to miss, but still a good show. And I think that the post show was very, very good. They don't usually do great shows right after pay-per-views. I thought Wednesday's show was probably the best show they did right after that pay-per-view. And then the Young Bucks debuting on Thursday. Again, there's a lot to be excited about AEW. And it called me, I don't know what the masses think. Just watching that Thursday, that Collision show, it just makes WWE look stupider for letting go of the Motor City Machine Guns. I just don't understand these idiotic decisions. And you're sending them to AEW fresh off of having your tag team championship belts the year before. It's not like they're going in there ice cold. They're going in there like, even going on the indies, they could tout being former WWE champions, former TNA, they could tout all that shit if they were not gonna go to AEW and just hit the indies, but yeah, it is what it is.
Gerard, what's your thoughts on All In?
Well, and just to quickly tag off of Chris's thoughts, especially the Motor City reaction to the Motor City Machine Guns.
Mm-hmm.
The night before for Dynamite, building packed. There might have been like a couple seats left.
Mm-hmm.
Collision, the whole upper bowl blocked off. Mm-hmm. It's only the bottom part. And for that to still be the reaction, both before and after both shows, Collision and Dynamite, we want a pay-per-view. We want a pay-per-view was chanted at the top of everybody's lungs. It has been the consistent thing on everybody's tongue. Detroit wants a pay-per-view. Hopefully, in the next year, we get that pay-per-view. Wouldn't be mad. Either A, I know All Out seems to be within the Midwest region, including Toronto. We're going to snatch up Toronto in the Midwest region. It's only 4 hours away, so hey, it counts. If Chicago counts, Toronto does too. Sorry. Yeah. But if All Out can move to Toronto last year, I don't see why I can't come to the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit. Hey, make them come 4 hours past. Make me go down the street. I'd love that. With that case being, or if it's not All Out, where's All In next year? Is the show next year? Do we move up All In next year to compete? It's our biggest brand? It's our biggest label? It's our biggest show. Speaking of All In, do we move that up? And that's our big American show next year.
I'm going to push back a little bit. I'm going to push back a little bit. I think that Double or Nothing is around the WrestleMania time. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to compete, I would just go Double or Nothing.
Oh, I'm talking about if we're going to do this, mm-hmm. you're now going to expect a shift. And so how you saw Forbidden Door this year jump around,
yeah.
I'm saying we're going to move things around. And so in that regard, maybe All Out stays right here, but we move All In 2-3 shows up.
Okay.
So that way in America for this year, because WrestleMania every so often would be in March, it'd be in April, every Blue Moon, it'd be in May. And so like you see kind of branch between that region. Why can't we do that with All In and move it up a little bit more? Just so we can compete with that market. We're starving for a big show. I can tell you that Madison Square Garden show and all of them at whatever they're doing for WrestleMania weekend next year is not going to feed the wrestling audience for America. So in that regard, them AAA shows and NXT shows is not going to do it with a watch along in a theater of WrestleMania. Kiss my ass, respectfully, of course. But nah, man.
Of course, respectfully.
Respectfully, of course. But no, I'm good, fam. I'm keeping my money in my pocket. But okay, so you push back. You say Double or Nothing is the big.
I say Double or Nothing. I mean, it's right around the same time of the year. Okay. And you putting all the chips on the table. I mean, you could go all in basically off of what I'm about to say, but you're putting all the chips on the table right there. But I mean, Double or Nothing started this whole AEW movement, right? So, well, kind of started it, right? But it started the pay-per-view era, right? So why not? Why not? I mean, I don't know where they can have it, but I mean, you got this. There's a lot of things that can be discussed. I mean, you've got this My AEW where you've got all these different independent promotions, and WrestleMania weekend is about all these other independent promotions, you know, just having these different events. AEW has an opportunity to do something very similar on US or Canadian, North American soil for that matter. They can have multiple events jump off and pop off. You know, whether you want to do something in Mexico City at the arena like we're doing in the next week, you could do something in Canada. You can do something in the U.S. There's opportunities everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't have to just be one particular city, one particular site. They've got options. I think WWE is going to. There's an opportunity for AEW to fill a void that WWE is leaving.
And I've brought this up before. It feels like Tony currently is Nick Fury. So the eye patch on my man and everything. He just bopping in. He coming into your home uninvited. He bypassing your security systems and everything. And I'd like to talk to you about this opportunity I have. Scott DeBoer is like, hey, get out of my house, sir. What are you doing?
There you go.
Doing? But in that same regard, gathering an MLP. But then sending your talent like the Lethal Twist, they're always at MLP shows. Now you're sending Andrade there. They have now just announced Adam Copeland's going to be at their big show in November for MLP in Toronto when they go back to the Maple Leaf Gardens. They are using that partnerships to build that up. In Detroit, we just saw them, which, yo, bro, it's not my flavor of wrestling, bro, but ICP does have their own federation, and they were there live on Dynamite with Tony. I could see my AEW being a landing spot for the IC Pro, bro. Just saying. So, and if you don't know who that is, we'll talk about him later when we get to Dark Side of the Ring. So, tune in. If you don't know what I'm talking about, stay tuned. But I like what I'm seeing with that. The weekend is being built. Here's my last bit to move on into the actual formal all-in of this year. My heart's heart, I do believe we might get an announcement, just like every WrestleMania. Hey, next year's WrestleMania is coming from this city. I think we're holding off to announce the big event at All In, and so we'll find out more details. The big blowout. It feels like also like, okay, we have our big announcement for here. We're getting to All In this year, and then we'll set up next year at the end of this show. And so I love to hope and cross my fingers. That's my prediction. We'll get our announcement for everything kicking off next year at All In. And so finally tapping off our All In discussion, Chris, any big things when it comes to the matches that are being built? These matches being the Ospreay Omega match, the Willow Nightingale versus Monet match, the either the Casino Gauntlet or we're talking about the tag team match, which, hey, I can admit when I'm wrong. I see the value in what they're trying to do. I have expressed TLC is coming. I've expressed that it's a three-way ladder match. I don't think FTR showing up at this point. Like I'm leaning on a hope and a prayer. I got more hope for FTR showing up than I do Braun Breaker beating Roman Reigns at this point. And that's my train that I'm gonna have to eventually. I'm
gonna defend you a little. You weren't wrong about the Braun Breaker stuff. It's just the way WWE moves can create situations where something you said that was right ends up being wrong, but through no fault of your own. WWE is just a company you can't trust to do reliably easy things.
Facts.
Yes.
We might have to. We're talking about AEW Redemption and all that. I might have to name this episode Revelation because I already admitted Jon Moxley. Hey, I get it now. I already had to admit, hey, Braun ain't gonna get it at this point. Braun gonna get that. From what I saw from Unreal, they said, "Hey, you got to spear him. That's a great opportunity."
It was garbage, man.
Yeah.
They need to cancel. They gotta cancel Unreal. They have to cancel that shit. It's doing them no favors. It's doing their talent no favors. It is just something that, as a wrestling fan who wants to suspend their disbelief, that is not something we need to see. I don't want to see that kind of shit. I feel uncomfortable watching it. It feels like watching. It feels like cringeworthy, you know. It feels like watching like Donald Trump do one of his awkward press conferences. It doesn't feel good. I do not feel good when I watch that show. That's why I don't watch the show. But those clips find their way to my social media, you know, to the Twitter, when I check Twitter, to the Blue Sky, to like, why do you have that? Like, why are we showing Braun Breaker in this light? That is not something anybody needs to see.
Especially when you show it in that light, and now we have the hindsight of today. Because you were doing this show so far in between that we're now seeing, oh, the Cena heel turn such a great thing. Homie, we already on the back end of it. We know it's trash. Oh, hey, we've got this great idea for this. Travis Scott, we know it's not a great idea. And you're not going to tell me the actual truth behind why the recipe got messed up.
What I would rather see, honestly, there's bits to Unreal that are very, very good. It's the other 85% of it that is just trash, right? So like when you get some of the guys, like, you know, we're talking about a Braun Breaker, getting a little bit of back history on who he is as not a performer, but a person, and then the ideas of what he put into becoming the performer of Braun Breaker, right? I like that. I like knowing his history playing football and making it to the league practice squad, and then his journey into, you know, NXT or whatever. Anything after that, we've already seen it. You know, that doesn't really move the needle for me, right? So, of course, there's some things that I do like about it. Like, again, back history, but the storylines going back to the John Cena. No, that was a good idea. All these ideas that John Cena had, they're not that good. They're really not that good in execution, right? And so him being polite and saying, "Well, we learned from the audience." Yeah, because we booed you. We booed you relentlessly, and you guys had nothing other than a Cody promo leading into the match at SummerSlam last year. Okay, I want the good guy John Cena, and flip the switch, and there he goes. It's on the whole thing.
It's like Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time, right? At worst, you could say arguably the best player, but at best, you could say he's the greatest basketball player of all time. Michael Jordan was not ever good in the office. That was not his ministry. That was not his strong suit, you know? And I think that goes with I think, and that's the thing with a lot of superstars. A lot of superstars, their game translate on the court. When it comes to like making backstage decisions, like picking Kwame Brown #1 and stuff like that, that's just not where they're good at, you know. And I think that John Cena, The Rock, Triple H to a lesser extent, I think I would trust somebody like Rip Rogers booking WWE more than I would trust you know, Triple H or anybody like that. Shawn Michaels does an okay job with NXT, but even with Shawn Michaels, he's been in that WWE bubble for so long that I don't think he I don't even know if he could give you the best out of NXT. What Shawn Michaels is very good at that he's way better than Triple H at that. I wish they would actually move Shawn Michaels to this position, is talking to the media. Shawn Michaels is the best WWE guy, maybe right next to Cody Rhodes. Now, I put Shawn Michaels probably a little bit ahead of Cody Rhodes when it comes to talking to media, especially when it comes to like scandals WWE is dealing with. Shawn Michaels can speak to that shit and sound like a human being. Even if he's bullshitting the whole time, he doesn't sound like he is. Triple H does. That's a problem WWE has. And it seeps over into their creative direction and all of that. It's a culture problem that they are going to have to work very, very hard at fixing.
And I don't know if that culture problem ever changes until we get a little removal of like maybe a PS, maybe a Pritchard gets out of here as well. Maybe a couple other folks get removed and we get some new voices, faces, and people. Because I will tell you this, Unreal makes me do this, and we'll move quickly back to our last bit of All In before we move on to the Slam of Summers. But I look at the scenes and there's certain people like there's this black dude. I don't know who he is on Unreal. Dude's either in a polo, he dapper fashion. He's always either right behind Triple H or like hovering around that. But he's never in the creative meetings, but in production, he's always hovering around Gorilla. I'm like, who is that? What is his voice? What does he have to say about these things? Does he have any ideas? Are y'all tapping into his ideas? Like the actual the people of difference around you, who are you tapping into, and how are you actually taking those ideas and evolving them? Or are you just saying, hey, I heard you, but I know best? It might not be Hogan's knows best anymore on VH1, but it's Hunter knows best, or it's Khan knows best. Nick, that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, but with that, I got one last little bit about All In, and it's how do y'all feel about tournament palooza? I can't even think of another term for it. But AEW has the Continental Classic. It has the Owen Hart Cup tournament. And now we have the Continental Cup tournament leading into a match that will culminate at All In London. Moxley is going to go down in a blaze of glory. This tournament is set up differently than the others. Continental Cup is going Continental Classic is a round robin tournament. Everybody gets to face each other in that tournament. Owen Hart Cup, traditional bracket form where you might not see everybody in that tournament. You just go through the brackets. This one, there are no brackets. 16-man tournament at random. Once you advance into your next round, you're just making it to the next round. You will find out your opponent close to that time period. I like the fact that these are 3 different tournaments with 3 different varieties and styles. But do we think it's the right time for this tournament? And do we think this is the right place for it to be leading into? Is this the best way to build a Jon Moxley story? Jay.
I'm not mad at it. And the reason why I'm not mad at it is you got to fill some matches going up into late August when All In happens, right? So it's a way to get different matchups. And I like the fact that you put your name in a hat, they draw the name out. This is who you're facing. So you don't know who you're going to face if you win. You know, winner moves on. The only time you're going to know is like come final time, right? So I like that. It's different. It's something that hasn't been done already previously in AEW. So it's not retreading something. We're trying something different. If it works, cool. If not, you learned, and hopefully they don't do it again if it doesn't work. You know, so I'm game with it. You know, there's 16 different wrestlers, so the potential for matchups could be anybody. It could be 2 people from the conglomeration going up against each other. You can have Gabe Kidd, who said he wanted to put his name in the hat. I don't know how it's going to work out logistically, but I hope it does. You know, there's a bunch of different options here, and I'm just very eager to see exactly who faces who and what the end of the tournament is going to look like and what that match is going to be going in towards All In.
I like it. Chris, how about you, man?
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think AEW's in a good position where they can be a little experimental and it could turn into something good. I mean, I think that's just kind of how you got to be a wrestling company in 2026. You can't be doing what your competition is doing. You know, you can't you like, and that was always my issues with TNA. Is I always felt like when I watched TNA, they were trying to be WWE light. And that's the one thing I do like about Tony Khan and his vision for professional wrestling. I do wish he would kind of like hire another booker to like book Collision, you know, at least so you could get different flavors of shows. I don't know if he'd act like Vince McMahon, like, because Vince McMahon was getting mad at Paul Heyman for booking shows that were better than his shows, so he sabotaged them purposely. Yeah, I think the idea is a good idea. The Continental Cup, you can use that to push newer guys. You could use that to, you know, give a splash of freshness to older guys that have been there for a second, you know. But yeah, I think the idea of this tournament is good, and I don't mind a bunch of tournaments because it gives AEW purpose beyond just these feuds, because a lot of times the feuds in AEW could be not just AEW but professional wrestling. They could be frivolous without the stakes attached to them, right? So this Continental Cup, this tournament, it could be a good thing.
And I agree with both of you. I like the fact that, like Chris, you stated, they're being experimental, and they're in a good place where they can be. I agree with that, and I like that. I think that what gives me pause in this story is if this was, and maybe I'm now drinking the Kool-Aid too much, the Death Rider Kool-Aid way too much at this point. But it's Jon Moxley, and so this was our world champion a couple years ago. What is the big story for this man? And a tournament does not feel like a big story for him, especially when he's been on this like relentless run over the last few months of defending that Continental Cup against everyone and everyone. Will Ospreay, Bandito, like all these people left and right he's defended against. I don't know if this is it, especially with All In. It's like throwing a tournament on WrestleMania. Does that tournament get the press it deserves? Especially when we are trying to celebrate two victors of another tournament at the same said show.
Right.
That's where I'm saying, are we doing a little much right now in the cups, buddy? Because folks literally want a cup to go to this stadium already. We literally have Will Ospreay saying, I won the cup so I could go face the champion. That's where I have my pause in the cup. But I get that it's also rooted in soccer, in that UK history of, because they use the promo package of like this cup that folks can win, and like it's almost designed the exact same way as the soccer cup. So like I understand what they're getting at in that regard. I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to see the format and the layout of the tournament. I'm a big tournament man, so I cannot wait to see where it goes. But I would love to see next year move this into a different part of the year. So, but like maybe it's somewhere in the space that gives the Continental Cup and the Continental Classic the same respect. Okay. So in that regard, that's how I feel. But for more thoughts, y'all, we're going to dive more into All In as the show gets closer. That's at the end of the month. That's August 30th. By that point, should have our next Ring Theory covering either the final card or might get to hear our thoughts about that. I don't know if we're going to do a live watch along because that's move-in weekend. And by the end of that weekend, I might just want to watch that show and have some fun and eat and be in peace. And so I might not want to react in front of y'all. Yeah, I might not want those reactions at that point.
Are you going to apply for press for All Out, Gerard?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I most definitely am. So
okay, cool.
But no, I'm excited to see where AEW is at in the stadium race, because we're talking about tickets distributed for All In is 30,000 right now. That's what we know currently. Well, let's talk about it. Let's really talk about it, because SummerSlam night 1, 34 tickets distributed. 34. That would be the worst SummerSlam of all time. 34,000 tickets distributed for Saturday show, 33,000 distributed for Sunday show. Because you know what? When you put Roman on that night, hey, I'm sorry, buddy, that's not fun for me. Saturday got the Hell in a Cell and Cody and Punk. That's the best matches of the whole. That's the best build matches. I'm good, buddy. I see you Saturday. I catch the highlights on Monday for Sunday. But with that said, we're going to dive into the SummerSlam card, give our thoughts, predictions, any final things that we want to cover up that have now been newly shared out. So for Saturday's matches, we got the undisputed WWE title match, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. We have Hell in a Cell, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. We have the Women's World Championship, Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. We have Gunther facing the man coming out of retirement, NWA's own Nick Aldis. We had the 6-man tag team, let's say championship, but they ain't got none of those. Thank God, because they don't need no more tag team championships. But we got LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, and Mr. Own the Keys, Royce Keys versus Mr. Fatu and the Usos. We also have another 6-woman tag, but the Bella Twins and Paige versus Fatal Influence. So with that said, for Saturday's matches, y'all, how y'all feeling about the card? What matches are making you the most excited? I've already told y'all, I snitched on myself. I said, hey, first 2 I said is what's got my attention. What has y'all attention? Chris.
I'm looking forward to Cody and CM Punk probably the most, just because haven't seen them in a one-on-one match, and that's one of those things where you want to be in a room, you want to remember where you were at when Cody versus Punk happened for the first time. And I'm not talking about some old ass Cody versus Punk match when Punk was very relevant on the show and Cody was not relevant at all, like during the dashing days and shit like that, or when CM.
Whoa.
Yeah,
fucking mirrors.
Yeah,
You ain't like that.
That's my time period. Man. That's what I love it, man.
Talking about like the new versions of themselves. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm kind of looking forward to Oba versus Brock. Not really, but I mean, like, I want that whole feud to be out of the way in the rear view mirror. Just because it was dumb in the first place. I mean, it just is another one of those logic things in WWE that makes no sense. And for night 2, I can kind of get behind Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns. The problem with that is I just don't think there's a planet where Roman Reigns loses to Seth Rollins. I just don't think that's that company's vision for that guy right now. You know, that's
what you did there.
I didn't do that on purpose, but yeah, I don't think that's what they see for him right now. I think the thing with Roman Reigns is WWE, and we always talk about their algorithms. I like predicting AEW shows because they don't have extremely predictable like formulas and algorithms you could pick. You know, WWE does, and it does, and sometimes it makes sense, sometimes it takes the fun out of it. In this instance, I think it makes sense because Roman Reigns is the guy they want to go with. Roman Reigns probably shouldn't be losing a match until he faces Oba Femi and puts Oba Femi on the map. But even in that situation, I could see WWE making Oba Femi lose to Roman before they have him beat him. I wouldn't do that, but I can see that's something that they would do, you know. But yeah, I'm looking forward to SummerSlam. It's not a show where even though WWE is a cult product, and I don't have any good reason to be looking forward to that show, I am still looking forward to it. I want to see what's going to become, and I'm looking forward to a couple of the women's matches. Looking forward to see how they maneuver after just letting go of so much good talent that I didn't think they had to let go of. We'll see. We'll see what they do, man. I'm looking. I'll remain cautiously optimistic.
Jay,
Chris, you better than me, man. You being very, very politically correct right now, saying that WWE's product is cold right now, bro. I honestly am not looking forward to SummerSlam. Just based off of, dude, I had to stop watching Monday Night Raw this last Monday because we got Joe Hendry and you got Danhausen on the turnbuckle doing a concert singing "I Believe That You Are Cursed." I'm like,
it was horrible.
This is what me watching pro wrestling has come to. I mean, I had secondhand embarrassment. I wasn't even in the building, right? Well, so for me, it's like you're supposed to be building up to your summer's biggest event, and you got that going on. They did have some good things happen, like Raquel Rodriguez winning the title, but she's not on the card. You had, the 6-man tag people with, the Usos, and then you have Solo come out, pew 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 pew, warning shot. I thought
Solo was pretty entertaining. I'll say that.
Yeah, Solo's great. Solo's great. Yeah. So night one, am I looking forward to that match? Not really. I am looking forward to Punk and Cody because I think that's going to be a good match. At least on paper, it sounds like it's going to be a good match. I'm looking forward to seeing how they end the Oba Femi Brock Lesnar saga. We know it should end with Oba going over. Hopefully there's no shenanigans. So that's what I'm really looking forward to with that. And I'm also curious to see what a Nick Aldis looks like at this point. He hasn't been wrestling for whatever reason. I mean, he's still in good shape, and he's younger than Cody. He's younger than he's younger than Roman Reigns. Right. And he's having his first match in 3 years. So I'm really wondering and curious to see how they present him. Is he going to be a full-time wrestler going forward, or is this another notch in Gunther's belt saying that, hey, I retired, Cena, AJ Styles, Goldberg, and now all this? Is that going to be the story that they tell going forward? I don't know. So I'm curious to see what they do with that. So hopefully they don't fumble the bag. Hopefully they don't fumble the bag, and I don't have to endure too many commercials, night one or night two.
They have to stop saying Gunther retired these guys, because they haven't even told that story in their storylines. They haven't told the story of Gunther retiring these guys. Every one of these guys that he's retired was already retiring. They announced that they were. AJ Styles said this will be my last pay-per-view. Cody Rhodes said, or not Cody Rhodes, John Cena, this is my retirement year. This is going to be my last match at Saturday Night's Main Event. You can't retire somebody that said they were already retiring. That's something they should have thought about when they were telling the story.
You're applying logic, Chris.
Just an adjustment in language. To me, it's strictly just an adjustment in language. In the same regard that Seth was like, Roman, you've never beaten me. And Muggs is like, look at this 2014 clip of you being beaten by this man. Look at this other clip of you being beaten by this man in 2018. Like,
I mean,
title matches was the statement to say. He's never beaten you in title matches. Gunther is taking the joy away from your retirement. You don't get to have a fun. You don't get to go out Oh yay! Look at me, confetti and fun, and I won my. No, I'm snatching your joy. I'm snatching your moment. I'm snatching your glory. I snatched Goldberg's glory. And then look what they did to him on NBC. They said, "Hey, I was cut."
Made the black.
I snatched Cena's joy. I made this man tap with a smile on his face. That's how much joy I snatched from this man.
Yeah.
We know on the back end he was retiring, but to them, he said, Saudi Arabia, you're not even from here, but you finna be because you're gonna retire right here. This way, So it's like taking the joy away from the retirement is the actual story of Gunther. Is
right? Yeah, that's what they should have
said. Ending. You get to have my ending.
Right. Well, career killer sounds a whole lot better than joy killer. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it sounds better, but it's a lie on its face, you know.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a lie that they can't even like. It'd be one thing if AJ Styles, if he didn't announce his retirement, if AJ Styles did what Brock Lesnar did after that match with Oba. It would have made sense, you know, because it's like, okay, I'm not announcing this shit months in advance. I'm saying like this is it, because that's what they did with Ric Flair too. Like Ric Flair, the way they booked that match with Shawn Michaels was like, if you lose this match, you are going to retire. It's just real simple shit like that they always miss me with, and I think for that reason, calling it a joy killer is what they should probably do, or just book it right from the first fucking place. Just don't do this kind of crap.
But that's WWE, y'all. Come on, man. Like let's lean on it like this. What legend did Randy actually kill?
Boom.
Nah.
He lost to Taker. He burned the man in the casket for a little bit, but that wasn't even a Mania. He didn't end the streak. Can get it like who like think about it. The Hulk. He lost the Hulk.
Yeah.
I made out with your daughter and hit you that RKO on the hood, and then I lost.
Yeah.
Like love Randy's like build to the matches and think it's so much harder and colder.
With Randy, it was just like when these old guys would do television shows. He'd like RKO him on that episode of Raw, just embarrass them on their way, and then call himself a legend killer. I don't know so much if it was about him beating people, because if that was the case, he like even when he wrestled Kamala on that one episode of Raw or SmackDown, it wasn't even like a squash match with Kamala. They let Kamala get a lot of offense in that match. So
there's a couple matches I give him, but Gunther has a better record than Randy. Like I think you can use no. Like when he was doing that stuff with Shawn and giving Shawn that random concussion type stuff because of the punt, he was kind of killing people's legends then, but like nobody stayed gone. At least what Gunther's doing, Cena ain't coming back. AJ ain't coming back. Or Goldberg might come back for the check.
Yeah,
somebody else, but
I believe he ain't come back for the check, man. I had more confidence in his retirement when he was announcing he was retiring as opposed to now, because now he's just like, why am I seeing more of you now than I was when you were like semi-active on the roster? Like, you know, you're and even that Cena, what's the name of the fucking tournament he's got? The Cena Invitational, or
the tournament that never was.
Yeah, so I talked to one of my WWE connects, and they told me that tournament is still supposed to be going on.
Okay.
Sure. Just like you can't. Just like I can't see John. I can't see that tournament either.
Right. Yeah. I'm just relaying what they told me. Is like, okay.
You said, "Don't shoot me. I'm the messenger, buddy."
Yeah. But if it's going on, then like to your point, if it's going on, then like.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, you bring up an interesting thought. What's going to be better, this Continental Classic Cup how they had to format it,
Stop
or
playing.
the Cena tournament.
Stop playing.
Oh, come on, man.
Stop playing. Like I could be a loser and still win. So stop playing. Stop.
Yeah.
Because like I don't even know. Like Cena should just not be on WWE TV for at least another year or two, man. He doesn't need that publicity. He's got what's the move? The Acme versus
Warner Brothers.
Yeah, or Coyote versus Acme.
Yeah.
Got that movie coming out. That movie was shelved and it's coming back. It's coming out.
I'm actually looking forward.
If that movie's a hit, then like, why are you doing this still? Like to me, because like Cena hasn't done any like flop movies in a while. I don't think. I think the last flops he probably did were maybe some WWE films.
We can talk about the Amazon films if we want to.
No, I was thinking, what's that one? Lottery Ticket?
I'm not trying to put no balls, no judgment over here. I ain't seen the movies, but I'm saying that them trailers.
I was like, lottery ticket has a word. They want to talk to you.
John Cena's in the movie with Bow Wow. Yeah, and Randy T. Jackson in there.
No, he's what's that? Oh my gosh!
You said Lottery Ticket. That's
yeah.
Bow Wow. That's Randy T. Jackson. That's a couple of them classics.
Yeah.
He was in he's in that one though. They did two of these movies for Hulu that I like. The one with Lil Rel and John Cena, and John Cena's kind of like they're a couple.
Jackpot.
Like, yeah, that one. I thought that was a decent movie. Those aren't flops because they're straight to Hulu movies. But like he's like I think his movie career is such to where he doesn't need the WWE machine behind him.
Because he hasn't needed that machine for literally years.
Right,
for years. But that's the thing. You're looking at the problem wrong, Professor. It's not that he needs it. It's that they need him.
Yeah.
That's the issue. And John, just like Taker, just like the people who just... And I can, to a level, I can get it because that's where I made my money. That's what I'm always going to show good to my people who have my back. And if this is the company that helped make me, I get that you want to show your love and support to them. So like the Takers and all of them that will, you know what, I'm retired, but you know what? I'm diving foot first into this because they helped me get here. So I'm going to help them keep advancing it, giving back to the business. I see John leaning on that side of what he's doing and thinking that he's doing the right, because he loves it. To the point where I watch Unreal and I can say, maybe these are his ideas, maybe they're not all his ideas. But he's willing to be the one to say, hey, put the target on my back. I'll take the heat for the company because I'm gone. So that way you all can move on forward. John is that kind of player. And so like to the degree, it's them reaching out for him because they need him. But when I'm standing in line for AEW Dynamite and I'm hearing people all around me be like, oh, did you go to Raw? Because that's what my question was to Tony Khan at Double or Nothing. You got to show 9 days prior with Raw in our city across the street. Oh shit. Woo. Across the street. How are you competing against that audience? They didn't have to. That Raw episode was trash as hell. I had to pause it and watch it the next day because, and that's in my city. I don't want to drive down the street. I don't want to watch it on my TV. Some of that was them doing it all on their own. And then Tony was able to put forward a great show. They're already standing out in that difference that WWE, I'm not looking forward to SummerSlam because you're burning me at Mania. I thought you'd at least get Mania, right? It's the one show you can't mess up, right? Wrong. You got it really wrong. All those we're adjusting. I feel like it's at Mania no matter what show I'm watching. Raw, SmackDown, NXT, whatever. I'm inundated with ads. I'm watching Sol Ruca and Raquel Rodriguez ad. Okay, all right, cool. We get back from this commercial. Hey, we're going to take another one. Yo, didn't you just... I just saw this Denny's ad. Why am I seeing it again? Get it off my screen. That's the issue with WWE. We are changing the brand. We wanted to, at the start of this Triple H era, it was, oh, we're saying pro wrestling again. We're saying the naughty words. Cool, but then you're not actually putting the pro wrestling on my screen. So when I look at a Saturday, yes, CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes is a great match. They've teased that with these promos every WrestleMania season. To now get it at SummerSlam kind of throws me off in it. And the way we got here, I think we could have did a little bit better, but I'm happy for the match. Oba and Brock, it should have been Roman. It should have been Oba versus Roman, period. And I got a question for y'all once I get through SummerSlam about what comes next after SummerSlam for Oba and for Roman. I want y'all thoughts on that later. But Liv and Io, what am I excited for? If Io gets that belt back, I've seen Io's reigns, and I love Io. She's a star. But literally, when you put her in these positions and you don't build nothing with it, oh, you are cursed. And now that's the women's world title program, and that's what we still leaning off of. You're good. I'm smooth. I want no part of it. Nick Aldis, I'm excited to see you, bro. Let's see what you pull off. But Saturday, Ad Mania and all that has made me kind of like, I'm going to start the show an hour and a half after it starts. Because I don't want ads on my screen. When I go through a work day, I don't sit in front of something to be inundated with ads over and over and over and over again. Especially when I'm paying you money for the ad-free edition. Don't give me no ads. So I'll be starting SummerSlam an hour and a half after. I can get past every ad and every nonsensical thing that's happening. But that leads me to then SummerSlam on Sunday. We have the World Heavyweight Championship match between Roman and Seth. We have the interim women's ladder match for the WWE Women's Championship, which will have the final participant of that match revealed tonight on SmackDown, actively as we're talking. In our Continental Championship match, we have Penta and Chad Gable. The U.S. Championship match, we got Trick and Baron Corbin. And I love Baron. Like, to be able to work alongside him on the indies and see him kind of growing and doing his thing at MLP and other places, cool. But where's Mello at? Where is Ricky Saints at? We could have had a fatal four-way. We could have had something. Y'all love getting mugs on the card. Where the people we was literally building all these stories around at? Where they at? I digress. Sammy versus Finn, number one contender faces the winner of Punk and Cody. And then the worst match on the entire SummerSlam card. The Human Money's on a pole match. Danhausen versus Dominic Mysterio. It's crazy that I'm watching Unreal and it's like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot Dominic Mysterio beat John Cena last year. What did we do with that win? We love to give big wins to folks and then just throw them shits in the trash. So what happened to Gunther? In the trash. Basura. What's happened to Dominic Mysterio? In the trash. Braun Breaker? Hey, nice spear on Roman in Paris. In the trash. So, like, come on, man. What are y'all doing? He's not even on the card. That's why I'm giving up on Braun Breaker beating Roman. He's not even on the card. And he's a champion. What? I'm smooth, buddy. I'm good. What excites y'all about Saturday? Chris, kick it up. Sunday. Chris, kick it off with me.
About the SummerSlam card, or I don't know what's really exciting me about it. I think it's gonna be I'm like, when I say I'm confident in the show, I'm confident in the main event matches. I'm confident in Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. I don't see how they put on a bad match. Rollins and Roman have had chemistry in the past. I don't have any like real hope for even with Solo Sikoa, even though I think, in my opinion, he's been probably the most entertaining he's been to me probably ever in his career over the last few months. I still don't if it, put it this way, if it were my choice with Solo Sikoa, I would have him just be the leader of a faction that involves him and LA Knight and Royce Keys, maybe call it California something, since they all have that loose connection.
Are you dreaming?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it could and that could work, but I think that they're doing all this with Solo just so they can make him a flunky again. And in my opinion, that's not upward mobility. And I think that, like, I mean, the company is so Roman centric that I just don't think everything, especially when you watch Raw, until Oba gets his push, everything on that show is to center and cater to Roman Reigns. That is how they see that's how they see their whole company, right? And Roman's got to be taken care of and protected, even if it comes at the expense of the rest of the show. And sometimes it comes at the expense of the rest of the show. Sometimes it's just good business because Roman Reigns is a draw. The long answer to your question is not much, but I do think, like I said, that I trust the main event matches. If the Roman's flunkies and Voice Keys and Solo and LA Knight have a good match against actually allowed to have a match against the Roman gang, I think they'll be fine if they're actually allowed to have a match, unless they just do something where Roman just turns on, or not Roman, where Solo just turns on them immediately. But I think, like I said, they've got the talent in WWE. They don't have the creative. They are creatively bankrupt. I don't know who's to blame for that the most. I could blame Triple H on one hand, but I could also see how Triple H is paranoid to do anything on the other hand. Because when Triple H tried to book WrestleMania this past year, they were like, yeah, you could do that, but how about you put what's the punter's name?
McAfee. Pat McAfee.
How about you insert McAfee in this feud that doesn't need him and try to make it good? I'm sure that didn't give Triple H a lot of confidence as a booker, because they straight up McMahoned him with that shit, man. It's like, and that's the kind of shit that McMahon does. Is McMahon was like, yeah, you have creative control. You could book this thing the way you want to book it. Just make sure you put my son and my daughter in all the major feuds and shit like that. And I think that's what happened to Triple H. It's like, yeah, you could book that, but see where you could fit McAfee in. If they're doing shit like that to him in that company, there's no good reason to be excited about SummerSlam.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Triple H is handcuffed to a certain extent because they've got ads to sell, they've got stockholders and shareholders to keep happy and keep jacking up ticket prices and screwing over the fan base. But looking forward to Sunday, the matches I would look forward to. I mean, of course, the entrance with Trick Williams. I know he's facing
him too. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Outside of that, I mean, it's hard for me to get excited with the product right now. I mean, I'm curious to see what the Finn Balor Sami Zayn match looks like. I think that's gonna low key hit the women's interim championship. I'm very curious with this one because this is, to my knowledge, the first time that they're using an interim championship on WWE proper. That's something that UFC does. That's something that someone like another company would do, but never WWE, because they would strip that person and then have a tournament and call him champion, but this time they're using interim, which I think is very interesting. I'll say that. The Roman Reigns Seth Rollins match, to your point, Chris, I think you're right. The main event usually delivers in terms of, talent being able to tell a story. But it doesn't really excite me. It doesn't move me. This is something that we could probably watch on a Raw, so but yeah, like I said, it's really difficult for me to get very excited about this product, knowing that AEW can continuously, no matter how long their pay-per-views are, they're going to have good match after good match after good match. This one, they're going to have a good match and then a long stretch between the matches with a bunch of commercials. And then we'll get another match and then rinse and repeat with that. So hard for me to really get, very excited about it. But here we are.
At the end of the day, I look at Roman and Seth. A note I picked up from not All In, but Unreal. Oh, Seth was so sad about his crown jewel injury to his shoulder that, he didn't think he's going to be able to main event. And this was going to be the year that he gets the properly main event WrestleMania Night 2. Does that mean, and this is just a quiet reflection out loud, but does that mean that the match we were getting at SummerSlam was the match we were meant to get at WrestleMania? If Seth had the time to be here healthy to book and have the actual story going in there, I could see it. But for me, either one at WrestleMania or here, too little, too late. It's not the time for me. I'm just not resonating with the story. But we'll see where it comes, because at the end of the day, I keep saying it should have been over. And it better be over. I love to see what comes of Chad Gable and Penta, as well as Finn and Sammy. I think those are going to be the two hardest hitting matches. Like, quality-wise, I think Roman's match might get a little lost in the story what they're trying to tell. But those two pro wrestling, just quality matches, I think we're going to get that. And I don't like Chad's new theme song, but I hope that, the people at least get with it. But because Chad deserves it. He's a really, really talented wrestler, and I've been entertained with his story that they've been telling. So I'm curious.
Underrated. You're right. Yep.
At the end of the day, SummerSlam, I'm not really looking for SummerSlam. I'm looking after SummerSlam. And to you all, I pose the question. At Money in the Bank in New Orleans, Louisiana, the same place that was given WrestleMania 42 and have it snatched right away from them. The same place that was supposed to have Money in the Bank earlier in the year, but then had it pushed back by a month, I believe. It went from September to October, so literally got pushed back a month. With that regard, do they make Oba versus Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank, knowing that, hey, sometimes it could be the big five, and they look at Money in the Bank as a bigger show like that? Is Money in the Bank a make good where they do this big match for New Orleans, since they took away their Mania and took away and moved this show around? Is that how you keep the people of Louisiana engaged in the WWE product? Chris?
I think it helps if you do something like that. They gotta give those cats something. Shit, they fucked them over. They gotta throw them some kind of bone. I think you could start with that. They owe them a lot more than that, but I mean that's a start. Would that bring back the goodwill in the city with WWE and New Orleans? I don't know, because I mean they really screwed them over for a lackluster WrestleMania, for a WrestleMania in Vegas that didn't do good the first time. And AEW's kind of having this problem to a much less evil extent. The problem that AEW's having is they ran Wembley last year, and they ran it, and they're running it again this year. And the first Wembley show did very good, and it's kind of been diminishing returns ever since then. So maybe you just skip a show and go back to England like the year after next or something like that. And I think with them WWE going to Vegas 2 times in a row, I really think that just destroyed any kind of goodwill that WWE had with New Orleans. I think what you just said, I think that's a start, but I think those fences got to get mended, man. Because you really did screw those people over for no reason, and it's not like I've been to Vegas more times than I could count, just living in California. And I've been to New Orleans a bunch of times too. I would say New Orleans, if I was going to pick the better city for WrestleMania, I'd probably pick New Orleans. Not by a lot, because Vegas is a fun city, but New Orleans is just so much things to do out there, so much good food to eat and stuff like that. So I think, and New Orleans really doesn't need WWE doing that bullshit. They have other reliable festivals that they could count on that won't do that fuckery, like the Essence Fest and stuff like that. So, I mean, yeah, they can. This is a start, but I think that WWE is going to have to just build goodwill with New Orleans over the course of time. If this show is a good show, Money in the Bank, if it's a good show, then I think they'll start entertaining talks about a WrestleMania. If it's a subpar show, then I think that's a bridge that New Orleans won't be quick to want to mend. I think they'll be probably done with WWE. Not done, but done for a while.
Done in that regard of those financial
packages
that they are putting together for cities.
Right. Yeah, because you have to be able to trust a city to live up to their end of the bargain. Like I've been a part of businesses where these kind of negotiations go awry, where one company has promised a company something, and then for one reason or another, they renege, and the company that did the reneging tries to get back in the good graces of that company, and it just never is. The relationship is never the same. And this is where WWE is with New Orleans at the moment.
How about you, Jay?
I'm going to agree with Chris. I think that is a good starting point to rebuild those relationships, because, again, it's not like New Orleans hasn't had a WrestleMania before. They've shown that they can fill a building. They've shown that they've got fans that are willing to travel to that part of the country and in droves, right? So I think if they put, like, what Chris was saying, I agree 100%. Put a good card together, and with that being the top of the card, Oba versus Roman Reigns, then yeah, that's a great start. And just build around that to a strong card. Like we talked about it before. I've talked about it before. All hits, no skips. If they could just build a card that's like, okay, I want to see that one. Well, I want to see that one. Make somebody like myself on the West Coast want to travel out to that point. I think that'd be a good thing. But do I trust that WWE will do that? Absolutely not. I honestly don't even think that the next thing for Oba is Roman Reigns. I just don't have the confidence that they would pull the trigger right now, because they haven't given me evidence of why I would think that. Because my thought was King of the Ring gets the next crack at the title, and they didn't deliver on that. So what makes me think that they're going to deliver a Reigns versus Femi right now at this point? I think they're just going to drag their feet and delay it as long as they can. I just don't have the confidence that they would pull the trigger on it.
Mm-hmm.
And see, that's what scares me, is will they pull that trigger? Same story that Ospreay and Mox are telling on Dynamite. We're actually living in real time in WWE. Will they pull the trigger on a Braun Breaker? We saw the answer on Unreal. No. Will they pull a trigger on this? We'll see if Chelsea Green gets that trigger pulled on Sunday and she gets a chance to get the interim title. We'll see who gets the opportunity to step into the sunlight. But for most folks, at the end of the day, where we're at, I'm hoping they change the game. You see where people are not enthused. Don't make us wait till Mania. Tell us a story that keeps us intrigued all the way until Mania. And sometimes that means giving us a little shine. And hey, this belt right here, seeing Oba carry this around his waist, I'm not too mad about that. Having a champion every week just hustling down to the ring doing his thing, cool. Because here's what I said in the beginning. I want to see Brock, the new Brock. And he's not going to be Brock at the end of the day. He's going to be Oba Femi. But I want the Brock push. And we're already screwing up the Brock push. He's supposed to be facing the Samoan at SummerSlam for the WWE title. He's not. So with that said, cool. Give it to me a couple months after. Pull his card, like I said. Pull the card because you got the championship. You king of the ring. Any world champion cannot sit here proudly and be like, oh, I'm a world champion. And I really ain't beat the one man who's really walking around here like a champion. The one man that beat down Cody to a point that only Drew could save him at the end. When we see him come up against other champions, he's demolished them for the most part, unless they've cheated. So with that regard, get past Brock, go ahead and kill Roman at Money in the Bank and cash in your King of the Ring shot. Cool. But with that, I'm going to say we're going to hold off Dark Side of the Ring thoughts until our next show, because also we'll have a full season completed hopefully by then, and we'll be able to dive in fully into not only TNA, not only Samoa Joe and his hookup. Hey, thank God that's how it got. He found his wife, so you never know. That hookup you might be going to, that job you might be accepted, might take you to your wife, to your partner, your husband, whoever you identify and you love. So with that regard, we're going to end the show off on here for this month of Ring Theory. This is episode 19. We've been doing it for well over a year. We have our streak currently of us going to, we was at Revolution. We were at Double or Nothing. We were at Ring of Honor. We've been at Forbidden Door.
What?
I'm speaking to Power now. I'm going to be at All Out.
Okay.
Be there and be square.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, and we'll have further coverage of not only AEW All In, but also SummerSlam and other shows that have been happening. And all the things that happen in this industry of pro wrestling. And so with that said, we can go around the horn, do some outros. But the most important thing I have to say to y'all is thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for joining. But I need y'all to join up on one other thing. That drive for 500 YouTube subscribers, 500 Patreon subscribers. A simple like, a simple subscribe, don't cost you a dime. But hey, $3 gets you onto our Patreon. What Brother Nate loves to say, less than a biggie bag. So in that regard, join on. We got some thoughtful turned up voices over here, giving our truths, our media, and giving perspectives that are not always highlighted and shown in this space. And so with that regard, Professor Chris, what we got popping up for the folks?
Oh yeah, just follow me on Substack. Follow me on all the socials. The thing I'm the most active on is Blue Sky. So if you follow me on Blue Sky, at Christopher Ely, just do that Google search and you should be fine.
All right, Jay.
Well, you can find me on Instagram at all caps Jerek JEREK_wins. Same handle on Blue Sky. Same handle on Twitch. I'm not active on there. I'm just trying to build up a fan base and just tease the folks, if you will. And also, anything that's nefarious related. So any on the platforms, check me on the shows for SBF, talking mixed martial arts. We got some big news, a big merger that just happened. MVP and PFL are combining. They're merging, if you will. And I'm sure me and our aforementioned brother Ray Williams will go ahead and talk more about that coming up shortly. So be on the lookout for that. And anything other shows on the various platform, keep it locked, tap in with us, and that's where you'll find me.
And like he said, this week in MMA, the SBF, we've got literally the parlay, the Kings of Sport, Ring Theory that you're listening to right now, as well as Super Salad, where we're covering our superhero shows. We got a breakdown of the Avengers Doomsday trailer and our reactions to that of folks on the channel. So dive into that. There's so much more. And I'm sure, hey, I just got done seeing Spider-Man. I'm sure some other folks gonna see Spider-Man. I'm sure there's gonna be a Spider-Man review coming for you. And so with that regard, y'all have a blessed one. Y'all have a great one. Hopefully, if you're out in some sunny weather, hydrate before you dehydrate. We don't need y'all out here passing out in these streets. Also, in this wild world we living in, show some love, give some peace, help out somebody around you. And hey, let's all make it to the next point. See y'all on the next episode. Peace and chicken grease, y'all.
Thank you.